What's going on, my broskies? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. So today we're going to talk about Whitebeard Marco. We know that they're going to be super evolving very shortly here. We're not going to get their information probably for a little bit yet, probably not for another week or so, or maybe even half a week. It's going to be soon. We're going to get their information soon. They're going to super evolve in the next upcoming Kizuna Clash, and we're all looking forward to this one. And the thing about it is that Whitebeard and Marco on release were like probably one of the best legends in the game. They just had amazing utility, amazing healing. They were just the best defensive style unit you could use in the game, and for the time that was very good for One Piece Treasure Cruise, as content did take quite a long time to kill. There wasn't really a lot of speed farming captains in the game, and you know, the power level of the game was a lot lower, and having a character such as this that could stall your way through basically anything was phenomenal. But obviously, as time has progressed, this character has gotten a lot worse. And the thing is that basically anything they do with this character in terms of super evolution, it's going to be a net positive, because this character, in terms of today's meta, is garbage. Like, you're never using Whitebeard and Marco for anything. So I'm actually kind of intrigued to see where this will go. And I feel like it's kind of similar to how when CatDog first came out with their super evolution, where like that unit was literally garbage and was never used for anything, and anything they did to the unit was going to be a net positive. And I feel like the same thing here with Whitebeard and Marco. Like, I really don't know where they could go with this unit, but I'm excited to see what they're going to do. And in this video, I'll show you guys what I have in terms of a concept that I briefly brewed up for a potential super evolution for this character. So we're over here on the database, of course, and I've just edited the inspect element of the web page just to give you guys a bit of a rundown as to what I think this character's abilities may be like. And look, we did this when Sanji and Judge got their super evolution, and we were pretty far off in terms of what I expected the 6+ to be, and I think a lot of people would have been off with that one. But let's go ahead and jump into it. So first of all, we have the first captain ability. This is Whitebeard. -1 cooldown at the start of the quest. Psy and Int characters get 4.75 times attack, which was up from 3.5, so that's a big jump. All other characters 4 times boost, up from 2.75. 30% damage reduction in the solo form. I believe beforehand it was 20%, and then makes Psy, Int, and recovery slots beneficial. So in the solo forms, they only made certain slots beneficial. Like Whitebeard beforehand only made Psy slots beneficial. But if you're becoming the Psy character, I feel like it would be nice to make the Int slots beneficial, and then vice versa for Marco. But also just make Int, recovery, and Psy beneficial, so that you don't have to rely on the switch effect of this character to make recovery slots beneficial, which is one of the real drawbacks of the unit. Whereas if you have to use their special to get those full board of slots, and if you don't have a way to make recovery beneficial, then that really sucks. So obviously you need to go ahead and do that. It also allows you to overheal. So this is a new mechanic that I've added. Considering this character is still a defensively focused character, I think adding overhealing with damage reduction would be pretty dope. We move on to the Marco side of things here, and Marco with his captain ability is relatively the same, except instead of having the 30% damage reduction, you get a 1.5 recovery boost. So that partners really well with the overhealing mechanic. So you're healing for a lot every time you pick up a recovery slot, and you just heal for a lot with that massive multiplier that allows you to overheal. So it's really nice that they have that. Now moving on into their combined captain, again, like there's really not a lot here. I mean, I'm expecting big things to change with their captain because it's very basic. But then again, you know, Sanji, Judge with their super evolution, they didn't have a hell of a lot change. You know, they had, I guess, the introduction of boosting fighters instead of boosting just powerhouse, and then they also added the effect with Judge side of things with adding resistance down on the opponent. And you know, there was a pretty heavy condition in order to get that to activate. Maybe they'll do something strange like that for Whitebeard and Marco as well. But essentially in their dual form, you just get the higher multipliers, 5.25 to Psy and Int, 4.5 to everyone else. You still get the recovery boost, you get the damage reduction, matching slots, and overhealing. So captain ability, I don't know. I really didn't know what they could add to the captain to make it desirable to use. You know, I feel like they got to add something in their captain to make people warrant using them as a captain, and maybe overhealing is going to be a way to do that. I think cooldown reduction needs to happen because they've got a very high natural cooldown, so that would be a really useful thing for this unit. Let's move on though. I guess we can talk about the switch effect, because the switch effect is pretty important here. The base switch effect of this unit was one of the reasons why this character was so good. So it's essentially the same, but it is a little bit less than beforehand. And what I mean by that is that it still will go ahead and remove paralysis and special bind on the entire crew by 1 turn and gives themselves a recovery slot. Beforehand, it would also go ahead and make recovery slots beneficial for 1 turn, but considering that we've done it in the captain ability, we don't need to worry about it. I haven't changed it, but also adding recovery, maybe even like adding recovery slots being beneficial as a crewmate here would be nice, just so you don't have to rely on using their switch effect to make recovery slots beneficial. I mean, because it doesn't really change all that much, you could still leave that effect in their switch effect. But then the super switch, 5 swaps, reduces paralysis and special bind by 4 turns for the entire crew. That is amazing. And then changing their own slot into recovery. And then the real kicker with their super switch, boosting the crew's attack based on the amount of damage reduced. So this is the same effect that Yamato versus Yamato has. So this effect is going to be the same kind of thing. So 1.8 times attack boost with an 80% damage reduction. And whenever you have this effect inflicted on your crew, in the description of the special, it always gives you an example. And in this example, basically, every 10% of damage reduction gives you an extra like 10% bonus damage, really. So 80% gives you 1.8 damage. If you have a 50% damage reduction, then it's a 1.5 times attack boost. But the thing is it lasts for 3 turns, which is kind of nice. So we move on to their special and how this all works together. So the special ability, instead of doing a 20,000 heal flat, it's going to completely heal your crew's HP, which means that if you're at like, you know, 50 HP, 100 HP, 1000 HP, just go back to full, right? It's a really nice Marco effect that he has. But then, to be honest, because we've added the ability to overheal as a captain, you could also add just a recovery effect focused on the recovery stats so that you can actually abuse the overhealing effect of Whitebeard Marco. That's definitely something that you could do, or you could have end of turn healing that lasts for quite a lot of time. That could also be a thing too. Also reduces all enemies HP by 30% that ignores all defensive effects and normal attacks only. So this is the exact same text as Super Tandem Whitebeard that came out at the start of the year in January or February. That character has a special that does a health cut that goes through everything, and you know, that character does also do like orb boosting and other stuff like that, and I think that would be awesome adding into Whitebeard and Marco, as they are still a defensively focused unit that don't typically have abilities to provide you with lots of damage. And remember, when this guy first came out, normal attacks only wasn't a thing, so health cuts were way more valuable. So I think that giving this guy the ability to still provide a health cut that goes through everything would be amazing. So better heals, better health cut. Change all slots into recovery. Beforehand, this character would change all of your slots into Psi, Int, or recovery. It would be a randomization. I think just changing them flat to just recovery would be awesome. And then reducing damage taken by 80% for 3 turns, and then combining into the dual unit for 3 turns. So this is where you can use the super switch to get the debuff removal. You get the base attack based on your damage reduction for 3 turns, and then their special ability gives you the damage reduction for 3 turns. So you can get 3 turns of a 1.8 attack boost that you can stack with every other buff in the game, which is awesome. So just lots of really cool things here. I do think that a damage reduction based attack boost just really fits the character well. As we've said it a lot already, it's a very defensively focused unit. Not a lot of damage dealing stuff is in this character's kit, so adding a damage boosting effect that isn't ultra significant, but you can still chuck it on any team and get a boost out of that, and I think that would be wicked. And also the 30% health cut that goes through everything is going to be really nice, but of course in a super boss Kizuna sense, the enemy is going to have the gray shield, which negates health cuts, so you don't have to worry about it being super broken. As we've seen with Dex Whitebeard, yes, he has a health cut that does go through normal attacks only, but doesn't mean people are going to use it in every piece of content. This is just adding an effect to make you have an option. You know, if you want to use him in content, well, he's going to provide these things for you, and I think that it's not a terrible way to give this guy buffs. And that's the thing that I talked about, right? Like, this character is really bad right now, and just about anything they do to this unit is going to make it a net positive for every player out there that has access to this unit. Now remember that this guy is going to have a level limit break upon evolution, which means that if you have those dupes invested, you are going to get a better overall outcome from this character. Remember that the new Rumble season that starts, we do get 2 copies of Whitebeard and Marco given to us via the actual rewards from the Rumble season. So even if you're not that far away from getting Whitebeard and Marco maxed out, you're going to be able to do that, which is good. Now, their Rumble kit, I didn't really touch their Rumble kit all that much, but I know it's not very good. So I would love to see some changes to their Rumble kit because, again, it's very defensively focused. They do have a health cut, which is kind of cool. On a 27 cooldown is actually really solid. And they do provide an HP recovery effect to themselves. So their special's pretty good. Rumble ability, not the best. So I would love to see some changes in that front. So we'll have to wait and see how things go. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. What would you guys love to see from Whitebeard and Marco's upcoming super evolution in One Piece Treasure Cruise? Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you guys did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.